Welcome. We're looking at Psalm 119. Today I want to look at the third and fourth stanzas, verses 17 through 32. These correspond to the letters Gimel and Daleth in Hebrew. All right, let's take a look at each of them. First of all, Gimel. So let me read it first. It says this, "Deal bountifully with your servant, that I may live and keep your word. Open my eyes that I may behold wonderful things from your law. I'm a stranger in the earth. Do not hide your commandments from me. My soul is crushed with longing after your ordinances at all times. You rebuke the arrogant, the cursed, who wander from your commandments. Take away reproach and contempt from me, for I observe your testimonies. Even though princes sit and talk against me, your servant meditates on your statutes. Your testimonies also are my delight. They are my counselors." All right, let's take a look at a couple of the words. First of all, this word, my soul is crushed with longing, could also be interpreted as my soul is crushed for longing, but with is the way we'd usually say it in English. It's saying the reason my soul is crushed is because of how much it longs for your ordinances. This phrase, you rebuke the arrogant, the cursed who wander from your commandments, could also be translated as you rebuke the arrogant, cursed are those who wander from your commandments. So it could either be you rebuke the arrogant and then saying, pronouncing cursing upon those who wander from your commandments, or could be saying the arrogant are themselves the cursed ones who wander from your commandments. And then at the end, when it says your testimonies are my counselors, that's literally the men of my counsel. So it's picturing them as actually sort of people standing around giving you advice. It's picturing God's promises and commandments as being like counselors to us, telling us how to live. All right. So I think the key to this, the theme that ties it all together, is the desire to be a servant of God, and how that's connected to the word, so that we can understand what God wants, so that we can do his will. So let me show you how I see this in here. It starts with this first statement. Deal bountifully with your servant, that I may live and keep your word. This is taking this perspective with God. It's saying, I want to be a humble servant. I'm asking to be able to willingly serve you. I want to know what I need to do to please you, to do your will, to do your desire. And then the next three verses are all kind of saying the same thing, except here they're saying, part of the way you need to deal bountifully with me is to help me understand what your word says. Open my eyes that I may behold wonderful things from your law. I'm a stranger in the earth. I'm not at home here, he's saying. I want to serve you. I want to be in your courts. Don't hide your commandments from me. The idea is that I might be able to read them, and if the Holy Spirit didn't open my eyes to them, they might be hidden from me in terms of what they were really getting at. My soul is crushed with longing after your ordinances at all times. So the picture here is that I'm saying, God, I want so much to serve you. And I need you to open my eyes to understand what your will is. I need you to show me what it is that's on your heart, what it is that matters to you. Jason's just finished going through this series on knowing the will of God. And this is the heart that lies behind that teaching, behind that question. This is talking about a person's heart that says, I want to know what you want me to do more than anything. I want to know what will please you, what you'll smile upon, what you'll be, what you want to see in my life more than anything. Don't let me miss that. Don't let it be hidden from me. Don't let me misunderstand it. Because it's very easy to just read the words of a Bible passage and not understand how they apply to me. We pray again every Sunday. Jason has his pray, show me, reveal yourself to me in some way, or speak to me today, God. This is what this psalm is asking for. Would you please, God, open my eyes so that you can speak to me in your word? Since I desire to serve, I desire to know your will. So I'm voluntarily putting myself at your disposal, God, and saying, show me whatever I need to know. And then he switches and starts looking at the world, which opposes your will, opposes God's will. He says, you rebuke the arrogant, the cursed who wander from your commandments. Saying, I want to be following you, but I'm surrounded by people in the world who oppose you, who don't follow you. They wander from what you've said. And his point is that that makes it difficult for me to see clearly and to understand clearly. And part of his commitment to obey God, part of his commitment to obey the word, is a commitment to find out how God thinks about life, how God sees life, and to not wander from that. He says, take away a reproach and contempt from me, for I observe your testimonies. The point here is he's saying, people around me are mocking me, or they're belittling me for the way that I am obeying you. I'm not going to defend myself against that. I'm not going to attack them back. I'm simply asking you to defend my reputation. Take away reproach from me because I'm obeying you. Take away contempt from me because I'm in this situation because I'm following you, and they are arrogant and wandering from your commandments. Even though princes sit and talk against me, your servant meditates on your statutes. I'll just simply stay loyal to your word. I'll just simply find my solace in your word. Your testimonies also are my delight. They are my counselors. So there's this picture that he's finding himself in a world which opposes following God, which opposes the will of God. And it would be easy for him to either become discouraged from all the opposition, or to give up, or to decide it's better not to follow God. Or on the other hand, it would also be easier for him to get distracted and start fighting all his enemies instead of focusing on God. But what he says is, God, they're not obeying you. You deal with them. Even if princes are talking against me, I'm just going to keep thinking about what you say. I'm going to take my delight in what you say. I'm going to stay loyal to your word. I'm going to find my solace and even my delight in it. So this is the basic idea, this being this kind of a servant, having this kind of a servant's heart, where we say, God, whatever you can show me, I want to do it. And I'm going to cling to that no matter what people around me are saying, or whether it's people around me are seeing it as valuable. So let me read it one more time and see if you can catch this basic trend in this whole stanza. Deal bountifully with your servant, that I may live and keep your word. Open my eyes, that I may behold wonderful things from your law. I'm a stranger in the earth. Don't hide your commandments from me. That makes more sense in light of the second part. I'm a stranger in the earth. All these princes are opposing you, but I'm trying to follow you. That makes me kind of an outsider, kind of an odd person here, the odd one out. My soul is crushed with longing after your ordinances at all times. You rebuke the arrogant, the cursed, who wander from your commandments. Take away reproach and contempt from me, for I observe your testimonies. Even though princes sit and talk against you, your servant meditates on your statutes. Your testimonies also are my delight. They are my counselors. Sometimes I think in life as Christians, we find ourselves faced with a situation where we know the right thing to do. We're committed to doing the right thing, but we're finding opposition from other people. We're maybe even having confusion ourselves about, are we really understanding what God's will is? We're not too sure. This is about the heart of somebody who says, but I want to obey you. Please help me not to get it wrong. And I'm just going to trust in you to uphold me through that. Deal bountifully with your servant, that I may live and keep your word. Daleth says this, my soul cleaves to the dust. Revive me according to your word. I have told of my ways, and you have answered me. Teach me your statutes. Make me understand the way of your precepts, so I will meditate on your wonders. My soul weeps because of grief. Strengthen me according to your word. Remove the false way from me, and graciously grant me your law. I have chosen the faithful way. I've placed your ordinances before me. I cling to your testimonies. O Lord, do not put me to shame. I shall run the way of your commandments, for you will enlarge my heart. Okay. When it says my soul weeps because of grief, the literal word is my soul drops because of grief. It sags, it becomes weak. The next phrase, when it says, I have placed your ordinances before me, that could also be translated as, I have accounted your ordinances as worthy. In other words, before me in the sense of above me. Either one of those are ways that could be interpreted. All right, I think the key thought for this one is somebody saying, God, my commitment is flagging and I need renewal. I'm having trouble holding on, God. I need your help to be able to hold on. So let me sort of show you that here. My soul cleaves to the dust. This is the need. My soul cleaves to the dust. Revive me according to your word. God, I've been following, I've been obeying, I've been following you, but I'm losing it. I'm about to just be defeated, and I need your help. And then he says in the second verse, I've told of my ways, you've answered me. Teach me your statutes. I think what this is talking about is that is about his relationship with God. It isn't just that, that he sits down to read a book and follows the book. He's brought his ways to God and said, God, this is what I've been doing, and show me how to do it better. And you've answered me. You've shown me where I was in sin. You've shown me where I was being foolish, and I'm trying to follow better. So continue to teach me your statutes. I think he's saying, I've got a relationship with you, God, where I confess my ways to you, both my sins and the things I think are going fine, and I let you critique them. I let you show me, where am I thinking right, where am I thinking wrong, and I let you transform the way I believe and think and act and what my attitudes are. So teach me your statutes. Keep me growing. There's this picture in both of these that the word is something which transforms us, which we have to wrestle with and work through. It's not just, again, a checklist of rules to follow. It's a way for God to deal with our hearts and show us what needs to be different. And he says at the end, my soul weeps because of grief. Remember, that can mean drops. I think this means my soul sags. It becomes weak. Strengthen me according to your word. I'm drooping. I'm losing my strength. Strengthen me according to your word. By according to your word, I think he means partly through the word, but I think he means primarily as you have promised in your word. He says, you have not only called me to serve you, you've not only shown me how to live for you, but you have all these promises sprinkled throughout the scriptures that tell us that those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength, or that tell us other kinds of things, that you'll strengthen us, you'll revive us, you'll renew us. That's what I need you to do for me. According to the very word you promised me, according to the very things I've been clinging to, follow through and do that for me. Notice that the first and the fourth are about needing encouragement. My soul cleaves to the dust, revive me. My soul drops because of grief, strengthen me. And the middle two more about my obedience. I've told of your ways and you've answered me. Teach me your statutes. I want to just do what you're saying. Make me understand the way of your precepts, so I will meditate on your wonders. So he's coming with a need, but he's also reaffirming for himself that he wants to be in obedience. He wants to be a servant. And the theme of this stanza connects these. I'm flagging, God, strengthen me according to your word. Here's the second part. Remove the false way from me and graciously grant me your law. That's again about obedience. I want to be able to keep following you. I don't want to flag. I don't want to droop in my pursuit of you. I want to be doing everything you want me to be doing. I want to be wholeheartedly committed to you. I want to be faithful and have integrity and keep going. And then he expresses his doggedness. Even though I'm tired, even though I'm weary, I'm going to stick to it. I have chosen the faithful way. I've placed your ordinances before me. The faithful way can mean the way of faith, but it means even more the way of truth and loyalty. I've chosen the way of sticking close to you and doing everything you say. I've placed your ordinances before me. I cling to your testimonies. O Lord, do not put me to shame. In the Psalms, when it says, don't put me to shame, what it means is I'm counting on you, God. Everything's depending on you. If you don't come through, I'm going to be, I'm going to be ashamed. I'm going to be like, well, that didn't work at all. So don't do that. Be God. Fulfill your promises. Do what you said you'll do. And let me be able to look back and say, God did not let me down at all. And a lot of the times the psalmist prays, don't let me be ashamed, God. Show me that you are who you are. And in Romans 10, it says, everyone who calls on the Lord will not be put to shame. God is faithful to respond to our word, to our prayers and his promises. But sometimes we have to pray for that, or we find ourselves needing to pray for that. And then the final verse is again an affirmation of my faith in the fact that God will renew me. I shall run the way of your commandments, for you will enlarge my heart. That's really interesting. It's not you will take away the persecution or you will take away the struggle. It's that I know that you will enlarge my heart. You'll make me more able to keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's an affirmation of faith in God's renewal. So let me read this again and think about it again. My soul cleaves to the dust. Revive me according to your word. I've told of my ways, and you have answered me. Teach me your statutes. Make me understand the way of your precepts, so I will meditate on your wonders. My soul weeps because of grief. Strengthen me according to your word. Remove the false way from me and graciously grant me your law. I have chosen the faithful way. I have placed your ordinances before me. I cling to your testimonies. O Lord, do not put me to shame. I shall run the way of your commandments, for you will enlarge my heart. So for this one, is this a week, or have you had weeks where you're trying to follow God the best you can, but your energy is flagging and you're beginning to wonder if you have it in you to keep going? That's what this psalm is about, is during those times, clinging to God all the more and clinging to the word all the more, because it's in the word that we find the promises that God will be for us the strength that we need, that he'll be for us the energy we need to keep going. So that's what that's about. All right. I'll see you next week. Thank you very much.